Hey Tiny Planet Explorers, so today's PJ the Kick video is going to be slightly different. I really like to share my creative process when I'm making things. Usually that's films and stories and videos, anything like that. I'll scrap together any extra footage I have and try to put together something that shows you how I did it. I've never shared the creative process behind making merchandise, not for any reason other than I'm just really lousy at documenting things properly. I make something and I look back and I'm like, hey, where's all the progress photos? Where's the footage? Where are the documents? Where are the documents? There are no documents. Not entirely sure what that was, but you get the idea. I just suck at remembering to document things because when I'm so in the heat of making something, the last thing on my mind is, oh, I should get some progress footage of this for later. Even though that is such a valuable thing that if you don't get it, you can't get it anymore because, you know what I mean? Anyway, so when I set out to make the Slurp Mug, I told myself this is going to be a very creative endeavor. I want to really try to document this as best I can. And I got some footage that I want to share with you today. I want to start by just saying the Slurp Mug is something I've wanted to do for a long time, but for me to make something like that, something for you to buy, it has to be the right design. I can't just slap anything on anything and say, hey, give me your money. It also has to make sense in the context of me and Kick the PJ, for example, my posters, it's my drawings. My album, although it's quite old now, it made sense for the time because I was making a lot of music at the time. Fable Fights makes sense because I love card games and I wanted to put all my characters into something. The pins, oh, my new main channel video covers the pins and no more needs to be said about pins. And the art cards, again, I just wanted to display my art into something physical that's printed. And so the mug, I've wanted to do a Slurp Mug for the longest time. Drinking tea became a staple of doing a Q&A and it became Slurp. So people have always been commenting saying, oh PJ, you should really make a Slurp Mug. And I've always looked at them thinking, I know, I really want to, but I really don't do well trying to force myself to come up with something. It has to come naturally. I have to just have the idea. So luckily, and this is where the archive footage starts, I got that idea. We're about to jump back about a year, so please excuse the fact that I look the way I do. Let's have a look. Hey, if you're watching this, that means that I've successfully released the almighty Slurp Mug, and also remember to document it. This is not the Slurp Mug. This is a Little Miss Sunshine mug. I've been thinking about it, and finally last night I was doodling. I think I came up with something that I like. So that was one side. That is not the side that I liked. It was this side that got me thinking about things. I apologize that it's all crumpled, but it's kind of got my head with a bunch of weird shit coming out of it. There's a hand, ignore the hand, that was me just trying to practice to draw hands. So I had this idea of what if the Slurp Mug is my pretty little head, and then bursting out of it is a bunch of things, not these things, because these suck. This is like a little castle, and a weird shark dude, and I don't know what the frick that is. You get the idea. Oh, I'm gonna work on doing some mock-up sketches. Love mugs, they're the core of my existence. Like, my house has so many mugs. Maybe I'll do mug cupboard tour sometime. No, I probably won't do that. Okay, so the idea is going to be to transfer this idea into here. So I've got a design that I'm mostly happy with, and that is this one here, the kind of brain explosion with crazy stuff coming out. However, I realized I was designing this not really knowing how it's gonna wrap around the mug. I really like it. I think this is cool. I'm gonna aim to make it full color because I'm talking to Dave at the minute who's gonna help me get this thing printed. And there are different choices of mugs, and you can either have them limited colors or you can have them full color, and I really wanna go crazy on the colors for this bad boy. Check out my digital style. This is the progress so far. I've started inking it and making it look a little bit better. Although I like the hand-drawn look, I think I can improve on it a little bit, which I have done some in places where it was a little bit crappy. I'm gonna keep going with that and try to get a full thing going, and then I can position. The way I'm doing it is I'm doing all of these individually, so if I think, oh wait, this rocket might look better like over here, like that, then I have the option to do that. Going great. Well, not great, but it's good. This is a really good example of why sometimes it's really good to redraw something digitally. The strings, they're all over the place on the ukulele. This was the hand-drawn, the ink-drawn one. The general shape looks a lot nicer, a lot neater, looking a lot prettier. The pizza was all kinds of wrong when I originally drew it. This thing is looking totally insane. I love it. I'm currently going through and doing all the color, and I'm really taking advantage of the fact that we're printing this full color. I've gone crazy rainbow hair. I didn't know how to do the hair because I thought just brown just would not look good. So I've done this gradient of rainbow crazy. So I'm liking that. I think this is gonna be something that I'm really gonna be proud of, which again sounds crazy because it's just a mug, but it's gonna be a special mug. I did it. It's done. The design is donezo. This is gonna be the final design for the mug. I'm super happy with it. It's blown out. Check it out. Just check that out. I have gone all out on the colors wherever possible. I've done super shading on everything. And as you'll see, I have included a bunch of my favorite things in the design amongst some fantastical creatures that I have made up and created. You got Fuzzworld, you got a sweet potato fry, eyeball, love eyes, spaceship. I really think you guys are gonna love this. I can't wait to see what this looks like when it's actually on the mug. It's gonna wrap around it. So that's gonna be pretty damn awesome. Noir mood lighting. Let's just change that up a bit. Cool, all right, so now I need to wait for a sample of this bad boy to arrive, and hopefully it prints okay. And so, I finished the design, we ordered the mug, it arrived, and I wish I could say that I loved it, but in reality, things don't always go the way you want, especially when you're creating something. My expectations on myself have gone way up, and the truth is, the mug arrived, and I really didn't like it. It was this one, to be precise. So as you can see, this was the design from the progress footage, but it wasn't the final design because it arrived and it was just really low quality, and I felt it was too big, and it doesn't fit properly, and just the whole thing, it didn't feel right. And I felt super discouraged, and I stopped documenting it. So there are no more documents of the progress of these mugs. So I want to talk a little bit about it now. Because yeah, the reality of creating stuff is that your first attempt at something isn't always going to be great or the way you want it. And I think that's fine for when you're making videos, especially if you're making them quite regularly. But for a piece of merchandise that you're gonna ask people for money for, I received this and I said to myself, I feel sick at the thought of asking people for money for this because I just didn't think it was worth it. So I took a step back and I was like, well, okay, let's think logically. I'm not gonna shut down the mug. What do I need to do to make it work? So I thought, well, first of all, the design needs to be smaller because it's just too big. Also, the print was fuzzy and low quality, so we had to find another place to print. So I thought, you know, if the design's a bit smaller, it should really wrap around a bit more. Essentially, I thought there should be more design. There should be more stuff going on. So that is when I received my second pass at the mug, which was this. That was a text, and that could not have been timed more perfectly. So I did a bunch of different revisions on the design, and then finally we went for the second print, which was this one, and as you can see, it's still not the final design. The print quality was so much better. It's sharp, it's colorful, I love it. I added more around the sides, like so, and I was like, cool, we did it. We got the Slurp Mug, but I still was feeling a little bit apprehensive about it. And I don't know if that's just because I got a bit rumbled by the fact that the first print didn't turn out great, but something at the back of my mind was still telling me, this isn't right. I don't love it, and if I'm gonna release something that people are gonna buy, I should love it. I should wanna use it myself. So we tried a bunch of different things over many, many months. We tried some different companies, and this took me so long that all these different companies we were asking to print from, their specifications became outdated and they updated them to something else, so I had to update the design to something else, and things kept shifting and changing, and oh my god, what a crazy endeavor. And I can't believe I didn't document this, because this was the more interesting part, not the part where I was designing it. Everybody knows what it looks like to see me drawing something sped up, but I guess you don't really know what it looks like to receive something that you're not happy with and be like, well, what the hell do I do now? But that's why I want to talk about it, because it is such a hugely important part of creating. Like I said, not everything's gonna turn out great the first time, or even second time, or even third time. I would have happily gone through 10 or 20 or 30 mug print samples just to get to one that makes me think, yeah, you know what, that's the one. Luckily, that happened on the third one. The third design came out just the way I wanted it. There was a lot of trial and error with different kinds of designs, but this is the one we went for the sample for, and I loved it. I shifted some more things around. I made Slurp central, which on all my previous designs, the Slurp had never been central, and that always bugged me. I just spruced it up a bit, I cleaned it up a bit, I put this blue box around it, which helped a ton. My previous designs, I thought there was something odd about the fact that it was a white background. I felt it made it look slightly amateur. I don't know, that's just a personal thought of mine. But when I got this sample through the post, I was over the moon because it finally worked. It finally worked. I think the other thing is making something for a physical mug is not my forte. I've got a decent idea about how to print like a 2D postcard or a poster or something, but to make a fully 3D physical mug and a design that works for that, I don't know anything about that. I've never done that before. So I think I really should have expected there to be this amount of trial and error, but I loved the process. I felt like I learned a lot from it, and I love the design. I'm so happy with it. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't make something if I wouldn't even use it myself. I drink from this mug all the time. I wear my own badges, I'm proud. So there we go. That is the creative endeavors of a guy who just really likes tea. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight into what kind of stuff goes into this. I want to just end this by saying a huge thank you to Dave. You may know him as Dave Blue Skies, for helping me manage my merchandise. I got a good idea about how to draw something a little bit fantastical, but as soon as it comes to working out any kind of logistics, my brain just goes into shutdown mode. So for all of his patience and helping me get all of my merchandise actually made, thank you. There are just so many moments where I would have emailed him the final design for me to then send another email just before we go to get it printed saying, wait, one more design, just let me try one more design. I just moved Fuzzwall a few pixels to the left. I also want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has purchased the Slurp Mug, or any of my merchandise for that matter. I've said it before, but buying a creator's merchandise is a fantastic way to support them. Everybody gets something cool out of it, and knowing something physical I have made is in the hands of someone who really wants it, that's a really cool thing. So can't wait to make the Kick the PJ action figures, right? Am I right? Dave, am I right? All right, well, if I want to release any merchandise anytime next year, I should probably start working on it now. That wasn't a joke. If you would like to buy a Slurp Mug or any of my merchandise, then please head over to kickthepjshop.com. It's all there. Cool, thank you, appreciate it. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. See you rad galactic space kids in the next video.